I always forget that, but anyway. Now, this study research, it's done several years ago for many, many years by Professor Christensen, and he studies theories about, you know, how to see things happening, how the action complement what's happening in your life. Now, at the end of the course, on the last day, he asked his students. So he said to them, instead of comparing businesses and companies, he asked them to look in the mirror and answer this question. Can you explain why your life is the way it is today? And can you predict what will happen in your life if you continue to do what you are doing now? And it's very remarkable experience to see the students come back on the last day of the class with an explanation what they need to change in their life so that their life will be in the life that they hope to live. So they change something because they envision their life in front of them, and they said to themselves, well, we have to change some stuff here to be able to get where we envision our life after 10 or 20 years. So this was the lesson behind this theory, that we have to implement whatever we planned for in our strategy. As entrepreneurs, as ambitious people, you end up living the life that you hope you will live, but if you are implementing your plan. But let me ask you this question. Are you really executing the strategy that you planned for? Now, the reason that our strategy is not executed as we planned for, it's because the very same mechanism of that of pursuing immediate achievement. So if you remember, for those who attended my workshop, we studied the matrix time management, and we said, there is a box there. It has important tasks, but not urgent. And those tasks are connected to our vision and to our goals. And all the time, they left behind. We go to always to execute the actions or the tasks that are not important and urgent, or important and urgent. So here, that's our point here, that we are pursuing always the immediate achievement, the immediate things, the tangible things in our life. And we actually give importance to the most immediate evidence. So at work, for example, we sell a product, we close a deal, we get promoted, we get paid. So our career provides the most tangible, immediate achievement. In contrast, investment in our families don't pay off for a very long time. Let me give you an example. On the day-to-day basis, you can see our children misbehave over and over again, and we'll not be able to see the children. It really isn't until 20 years down the road, if you can look to your children, or to any children, and to see if you did really good job, if they did really good job in raising children, because it takes time. It takes this is investment, a long time investment in your children. So investment in the relationship takes a long time. Investment in families, investment in children, in friends. Now, if your family is one of the deepest sources of happiness in your lives, then you have to put it one of your priorities. If you remember, when we did the life plan, the first thing we did, choosing the values and choosing the priorities from our values. And this is my point today. I want you to connect yourself with your values and connect their values with the goals, because the values are the foundations. They are your priorities. And that's how you'll get a good strategy, a right strategy in the end that you are really pursuing. Now, So this question, a question of a big research has been asked before. Why most companies fail? Most companies fail. Why? They did research about this, and they found out the same conclusion that I said today, that they invest in the most immediate and tangible evidence of achievement. And that's the reason why they have such short time horizon, because they're not investing in the long-term goals. We then apply that very same thinking process in our personal lives with set results. So we have to measure that to our life as well. I will be talking about business a little bit today because we want to measure that to the lives as well. It's very important to do this. But now I want you to answer this question and put it in the chat box, because I want you to see if your answer will be changing after we finish this presentation. So please take 2-3 minutes to answer this question. I want you to answer, how do you measure success in your life? 2-3 words or whatever you can. But I want your opinion on this before we finish our presentation. How do you measure your life? Your success in your life? By achieving my goals, Dr. Ahlam. Yes. Yes, achieving goals, Fatima. Any tangible things you can tell me? How do you achieve your goals? How do you measure your life? How do you measure success in your life? Measure it with passion and energy for working towards my goals. Yes. Come on. Anyone else? Iman, state of mind and surrounding. That's good. Okay. I want you to answer this question after we finish this presentation as well. So this is very important to know your opinion as well, because it's very important to know how do we measure success in our life. Actually, I want to stay here now for a moment, because I want to talk to you about a book titled "How Will You Measure Your Life?" It was written by Professor Christensen as well, and he did a long research about before he wrote this book to answer this question: how will you measure your life? And he studied that for a long time, and he reached a strange conclusion. He said that we human beings, I think we have this in our principle, in our Islamic principle as well, but he did it after research. He said, as a human being, we have a finite mind. It means when we try to understand what's going on in the world, we have to aggregate things. So in your companies, in your work, in your organization, you are professional, I know. So imagine your work. We can't keep track of every individual invoice. So you have to aggregate all those up. So you have receivables, you have payables, you have revenues. You can't keep track of every element of cost. So what do? You have to aggregate all that up into total cost categories and then subtract that from this, and then you have a number. What do you do with this number? You compare this number to the last year number. So we can understand the world, we can understand our company, we can understand our organization. It is because our limited minds, we have to aggregate things up. And then we compare this number with the other numbers to see if we have the organization, we have profit, we have loss, we don't have profit, we have to work hard, we have to tell our employees to get some products sold, to get some services, whatever you do. And then you get this sense of, of hierarchy. So in other words, people who are higher up in larger organizations are more important than people who preside over few numbers of people. Is that right? So we're judging people about where their positions as well. And we get this sense that people who achieve in a hierarchical sense their lives will be judged somehow as better having lived than those who we judge people by those who below. We judge people how they get their money, not how they get the money, how much they get money and the position. So these are the results of our limited mind. That's the words of Professor Christensen. And the fact of having to aggregate measures of success, we do that all the time in our work, in our lives. Again, we ask this question, how do you measure success? We do measure success in aggregating things up and based on the sense of hierarchy of wealth. And in his research, Christensen concluded, he said, God does not employ an accountant because he is the one and the only one that he has infinite mind. And he said that he will be asking us about the talents that he gave us. What did you do with this one? How? That's the way God measures our life. And this is in our principles, actually. It's really important that you succeed at what you are succeeding at, but that isn't going to be the measure of your life. Does that make sense? If you have any question, just put it, you can tell me if you want, you can ask, and you can write it in the chat box. He said, God is going to assess us on the basis of how well we helped other people for achieving things, for being better people. And that's how our things work. Sometimes we are lost with measuring the money, with measuring positions and all of that. But we have to think strategically. How do we think strategically? And what's this thinking strategically? What's about? So simply getting your work done does not automatically position you for success. Yes. So you have to think strategically, but what exactly is strategic thinking? And how does it differ from strategic planning? So strategic planning is the process by which leaders set the direction for the organization. So set the way forward, set the direction, so the organization to move forward. And during the strategic planning, leaders decide on a path to success, a guide that people set priorities, allocate resources toward these priorities, and plan how to achieve key goals. This is strategic planning. So consider your action plan. Strategic thinking is how you help create that path to success, how you think strategically, how you get to require that putting the smallest decision in the context of the life broader long term. So you don't ignore anything. This smallest decision, it may be your priority in life. How can you ignore this? So you have to put it in the strategic plan. That's how you think strategically. You connect your priorities, your values to your goals. So you can act strategically and you can execute the strategic plan that you intend to do. And you did. You planned for it, but are you executing the real one? So to thinking strategically, you need to do planning about your relationships, your work, your personal life, and to frame your decision based on thinking of your future, rather simply react to the present. I don't want you to just be reactive to the present, to the situation. Be prepared, be proactive. You are there to do your things, but you are comfortable because you already planned everything. When you think strategically, you put yourself on the smart path to success. Now, why are we creating strategic plan? We are talking about strategic plan, but why? In just a few words, why it's so important? So our ability to think, to plan, to decide, and then to take actions determines the course of our life. And the better you become in each area, the better you will be each part of your life, the faster and the easier you achieve your goals. So that's very simple. If you do have one strategic plan, you will be in the safe side. You have better opportunity to achieve your goals faster and easier. And strategic plan is the tool you use to get from wherever you are to wherever you want to go. And let me give you this example. The difference between a person who uses a personal strategic plan as a central part of his or her life and the one who does not is like the difference between someone who's riding a bike with no plan. He or she knows the destination, but they don't have plan. And the other one, she is driving car with Navigator or with Google Map, and she put the routes and off we go. So they both will get from A to B, but the car with the Navigator, which is the personal strategic plan, will get you there faster and easier. So it's very important to understand that on the way, you are implementing goals. You are implementing different goals, in this plan, in this strategy. You are putting the goals. Long-term goal is the vision, and the short-term goals, they are on the way. While you are riding, while you are driving, you are implementing these short goals. Now, the personal strategic plan is a systematic way of thinking and acting. Why? Because it's learnable, like learning some skills on the way, because many different elements made up this key skill. When you are going to achieve a goal, maybe you need a skill, maybe you need to do training, course training, maybe you need to study master's or doctorate, maybe you need to learn language. So this is a skill. They are skills that you need along the way when you are on the way to achieve your goals. And many different elements made up all of this. But with the practice, you will get into the rhythm of thinking and acting strategically for the rest of your life. So you're used to it. When you plan, you used to do that all the time. When you do that, your life and career will take off really easy and your success will be assured. Also, you'll save your time and a lot of money because you are doing everything planned. It's easier way. You took the way that it's already planned. And by organizing yourself and thinking strategically, you very quickly find yourself doing more and more of the most important tasks that can move you towards your key goals. You do more things right and fewer things wrong. You establish specific targets for your organization, for your work, and for yourself. And you greatly improve your ability to measure and track results because there is a tracking, a revisiting, for a reviewing for the strategy. And you greatly improve your ability to measure and keep tracking, keep revisiting. You move on to the fast track in your work and in your life generally. Also, you design your life and career. So the purpose of business strategic planning is to increase return on equity, as we said in the beginning. But what's equity? Equity is defined as the actual amount of shareholder money invested and working in the enterprise. The aim of strategic planning in business is to recognize and restructure the activities of the business so as to achieve higher quality and higher quantity of outputs relative to the inputs. It is to improve and increase financial results, and thus to improve profitability. Overall, the goal of strategic planning is to enable the company to utilize its people and resources effectively. It's about how to manage people effectively as well. So the company will then function better than before. It will be in superior position relative to its competition. This improvement can be measured in terms of higher scales, greater market share, better profitability. I'm still talking about business now. Higher return on equity, higher return on invested assets, and better positioning for the future. Now design your life and career accordingly. How do we do that, measuring in a personal strategic plan? It is exactly similar to this. However, instead of returning on equity, the personal strategic plan is aimed at increasing your return on time and energy. That's increasing your return on life. And the equity in business is measured in terms of financial capital. And your personal equity, on the other hand, is measured on what? In terms of what? Of human capital. What's a human capital? You remember? We talk about this in our life plan. Human capital is composed of everything, all the aspects in us, in mental, emotional, intellectual, and physical energies. You have to invest in all of these in your life. You have to balance all these aspects to be able to do, to plan a good strategic plan and to execute a good strategy. So your goal should be to get the very highest return possible on the investment of yourself in everything you do. But how do you make sure we are implementing the right strategy? This is the most important question to ask now. Are we implementing the right strategy? And guess what? Most companies, they wrote the strategy, they put it in the drawer, and that's it. They're not executing the same strategy. How? What's happening? Strategy is not what a company says strategy is. Strategy is not a kind of aspiration and vision statement handed down from the C-suites and printed in annual report and putting this strategy as well in the advertisement campaign and so on. A real strategy is formed in everyday decision that every single employee of the company makes about how they spend their own time and energy in the company resources. This is the concept of resource allocation. So it's not about giving orders and commandments from up there and not executing a right strategy. Because this employee, if they're acting, if they're doing choices, it is part of the strategy. That may sound boring probably to you, but it is profoundly important. Let me illustrate this for you. I'll give you some example. If company says there is a new inexpensive product that the goal is to sell this year to make a massive profit throughout the company, and it costs less. But the company top salespeople know that they will earn more commission if they sell the old model that costs a lot more. Which of these models do you think is going to sell better? Think about this question. I'll give you some examples, some other examples as well. If a company says and believes and focuses on long-term and on high potential leadership programs, and all these high potential are rewarded for the short-term success, what message has that sent to the future leaders of that company? If that company says and believes in quality, but then encourages their employee to cut corners and to sell a little less quality product, is that the right strategy that they are implementing now? So there are resources allocation choices that are actually forming the strategy of the company, of the organization, every single day by everybody who works there. Strategy is not set from high. It is executed by everyday decisions that everyone makes. Now, think about this. This is true in our lives as well. Our strategy for our life is not what you say it is. Your strategy for your life is formed by hundreds of everyday choices that we make about our personal resources, our energy, our time. Our resources are energy and time. And how we spend these resources is the real determinant of the strategy. Now, if you plan your strategy, you put something and you are executing something else, this is not the strategy that you really want to pursue. So now start connecting strategy with your priorities. If the priority in your life to be great mother, a good friend, good sister and daughter, and if you look at the strategy allocation, you would know that is not true. Why? Because you are spending all the time and energy thinking about your work and waiting for others to give you an hour space, a free time to have dinner with your family. That's an example. So you will be implementing a strategy that you don't intend to pursue. If you do not follow your values and the choices you made, this is not the strategy that you planned for. So we have to be careful about this. We have to connect our priorities to our strategy. If you don't make the right decision, your life will be filled with an unending stream of extended circumstances. So my resources, and the most precious we all have, is time, energy. That's all we need to spend in the right path. So we have to be conscious about this, that we have firstly, and the most importantly, connect our strategy with our priorities. So the point here is how you allocate your personal resources to the relationships in your life. It is a very important decision you can make. You need to change in your life and get back on track quickly. It is never too late to get yourself back on course. So do you have any questions? No, until now? Okay, I'll give you some time in the end so we can answer the questions as well. Now, we said as the first priority, as a first step, we have to connect our priorities with our strategy. And the next step is, what is it that I do especially well? This is about your talent. What's your area of excellence? What's your personal competitive advantage over the other people in your field? This is a question we ask in business as well. What's the organizational competitive advantage over the other company in your field? So it's exactly the same. We have to see our excellence, our competitive area of excellence, so we can master this area. So one of the chief responsibility in our life is selecting this area, the area of excellence that can have the greatest positive impact on your career, on your income, on your life, and then through your whole heart into becoming extraordinary in that particular area. In his book, Competing for the Future, Gary Hamel points out that the top companies are those that project forward 5 years and then identify the core competencies that they will require at that time to dominate their industries. They then implement a development plan today to assure that they have those core competencies in place when the future arrives. So we should follow this strategy as well. Strategy of selecting our area of excellence and be good in this area, because we excel in this. But I want you to answer this question for me. What are the core competencies that you will need to be in the top 10% of your field 3 to 5 years from now? If you want to put it in the chat box, you are welcome to do it, but I want you to answer it on a paper. So it's very important. These questions are really important when you make a strategy. How do they differ from the key skills today? So choose the core competencies. There are a list of core competencies. What are the core competencies? You can choose 3 that you are really, really good in these competencies. And how do they differ from your key skills today? What can you do today to begin developing those additional skills and abilities? So do you need training? Do you need to do courses? Do you need study? Do you need any skill, anything to be able to develop these skills better and better so you can be excellent in these skills? So it's very important to put your skills after you put your values, after you put your priorities, after you connect your priority to the strategy, to put as well your talent, your skills. So please answer these questions because it's very important for your plan. Anyone wants to share the response or the answer? Okay. Now it's time to revisit your strategic plan. You can tell it is time to revisit your strategic plan when you are no longer getting the kind of results you want from your work and from your life. Whenever you feel frustrated or dissatisfied or for any reason, this is often an indication that you should sit down and ask yourself hard questions and big questions and review your strategic plan. Whenever experience resistance and stress or find yourself as well working harder and harder without getting any achievements or any rewards, you have to go back and revisit your strategy. Do you have a strategy plan? I want you just to say yes or no in the chat box. Do you have a strategy plan? Yes, mashallah. Who else? So in 10 years, you will be 10 years older, but will you be better? That's a question. That's the importance of a strategic plan. to put something that you will achieve more and better. So I want you to see these ones, consider these 5 elements from values, value. The first one is the V. So 5 ways to create a strategic plan. You have to start with thinking with these 5 elements. Vision, envision your life. How do you envision your life and your future? You begin to see things in a fresh way. You envision your life, you put your vision, that's a long-term goal. And achievement. What do you want to achieve? That's your goals. What do you want to accomplish in your life? That's your goals that you put in the strategy plan. And learn. How are you going to learn? What do you want to learn? And how you grow. And understand. What will you begin to understand as it unfolds in a fresh new way about your life? Look, you have to, this element, understanding, you have to keep it in the whole process of doing the strategy, of revisiting your strategy. Because if you put it as understanding everything, you will be seeing if you are really connecting your priorities to the strategy, to your goals. So keep thinking about this. Is that possible to achieve their goals? Is that connecting with your priorities? And then experience. What experience do you plan to have and work and apply harder and have as well, have fun with this plan? So I invite you to look through values. You begin to look through this lens and say, as I think of the next 90 days of my life, break it down into quarter. We do that in business. Every quarter we visit the strategy. So same with your strategic, personal strategic plan. Every quarter, look at your plan through the lens of values and see if you have achieved what you want to achieve. Did I learn? Did I truly understand? And then did I have a new experience? So this is very important to sit down and ask yourself this question and think about these questions and put these elements as a guide for you to do the strategy and to revisit your strategy all the time. So now let me talk to you about the steps for strategic plan. So we will be doing a roadmap, a living plan. This is the strategic plan. I will be doing that next workshop, next week's workshop. So we will be doing how to identify the core values. We can revise this because we know this, but we will be learning about how to create vision and mission statement, setting the direction, and also how to do the personal SWOT analysis. So always we hear about SWOT analysis, and we know in business, it's very popular in business, SWOT analysis. But we understand that in a wrong way. The SWOT analysis, we have to clarify about the SWOT analysis. What's the SWOT analysis? I will be doing that as well. Aligning resources as well with, we have to have resources, sometimes energy, sometimes time, all the time. Time, we need time and energy, and we need money as well. So how to align the resources with the goals, with the priorities, and design goals to achieve desired results. So we will be revising as well the goals and making a commitment to working your plan. And after that, of course, celebrating and revising. Always celebrate and revise your achievement. So this is, it will be, inshallah, next week. I will be sending email if someone wants to attend. You are welcome to attend. So in the end, I want to say that our view is the best measure of success in the end of your life, is the number of people that you touch positively, you impact positively. and the depth of relationship of those special to you that really matter to you. So we have to go back to our principle, to our Islamic principle, and think about this, how to help people around us, how to achieve long-term goals. It's like paradise, achieving long-term goals. And towards achieving long-term goals, we have to achieve these short-term goals in this life. So it's very important to put that in our mind and think about it as very important areas to think about, to balance all your aspects of life, to be able to do a really true strategic plan that you are really executing and you want to pursue in the end. Now, if there is any questions, that's the end of my presentation. If there is any question, you are welcome to talk and to answer, or you can talk in the chat box, whatever you, if there is any question. No question? I'll stop sharing. If there is no question, I'll stop there. Do you want to discuss anything? So if we want to ask the same question, how do you measure success in your life? Would you answer this question as you answered before? Yes or no? No. How do you measure success, Dr. Ahlam? Thank you so much. You are welcome. You are welcome. Then do you have any other answer?
Yeah, just thank you so much for Dr. Rawa for this lecture. But when you explained about we measure our success by the impact that we affect to other people, or the how deep, like I even like your expression that how deep we affect other people positively. I think this is I think it's much better than my first answer. Yeah.
So if we look straight away, we are upset if we don't achieve short term. We are upset if we don't get very tangible results. And we thought about it like, if we thought about it like this, as God will assess us on the term of how many people did you positively impact in your life, or inspire, or serve, or influence. So I think this is exactly our Islamic principle. As we are aiming to the paradise, it's a long term, but we have to really work hard towards this, and it is a really long-term achievement, long-term goal. And that's, I think, my view is doing the same thing, measuring the same thing to our personal life as well, and to our work. Because in our work, sometimes we don't get promoted, we don't get paid, we don't get these things, and we are still measuring ourselves according to this. No, our success is our life, our family, our children, mashallah, our relationship. This is our investment. I think this is the most important investment that we can see. Beautiful children, very successful children in front of your eyes, and thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this achievement. This is a big achievement. I think more than money, and a lot more than mansions and houses. So inshallah, this lecture will be it's beneficial, and thank you. I thank you for attending. I know December, it's a holiday and a break month, It's very slow to have people in this time, but I thank you so much for taking from your time and attending. I appreciate your attendance and thank you so much. I'll see you then, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rawan. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.